So Donald Trump's worst nightmare just happened.
In Korea today.
Yeah, today. So what it was is that President Yoon of Korea got impeached.
Just impeached.
This is the second time that it's happened in Korea's history.
Yeah, so it's kind of shame, but it's also proud because it's showing the victory of democracy.
Right. Democracy and rule of law. And if you guys don't know, but basically what it was is President Yoon declared an illegal martial law. And basically tried to storm the Congress, had everyone arrested, basically what he was trying to do. The people stood up. We actually arrested him.
Yeah, we our people just stopped the tank.
Oh, yeah.
The tank was going to the Congress, but just regular people stopped them, and our congressmen just the step over the fence.
Yeah, they had to try to climb over the fence to get in. We'll explain the details of this thing, but I just wanted to start out right away that the impeachment did pass. Now, how many judges voted for the impeachment?
It was 8. All of them agree.
Yeah, it was unanimous. And effectively what was going on, it was like the longest decision in history, or not history, but just in this situation, is a better way to say it. And
so last time it took about like 40 days, I think, but this time it takes like about 2 months actually.
Yeah.
110, 11 days.
And when it was going like a long time, people weren't sure. Like what does it mean? Like if it goes long, it could mean what? What's different things?
Then he's fine. He's get back to his job, or what are we doing right now? So people keep fighting.
Right.
You're right. I'm right. You're wrong.
Right.
You're wrong.
Another way to look at it too, because it did take a long time. I mean, the judges wanted to make sure that they wrote the decision like really carefully. Because if you make any mistakes in that kind of thing, then people can start challenging it and stuff like that. So some of the key details, and we're mentioning this as Trump's nightmare because you'll find some of the stuff is very similar. So like, for example, if you want to declare a martial law, you have to get everyone's signature.
But they have a proper meeting, but it was not.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, but people, if you want proper martial law, the high chair one, they have to agree with it.
Yeah.
But they say they just came in the room, but they don't know what's going on.
Oh.
But they just, he's going to do the martial law. What?
Oh, like for sure. Like I just heard we got a meeting. I was at sleep. Yeah. And the way Yoon did this stuff, and again, it's very related to the Musk and Trump stuff. It was at the middle of the night, basally.
Yeah.
I think it was like on a weekend too, right? If I remember correctly. Was it on a weekend? It was at night. I remember it was the middle of the night.
In the middle of maybe Friday.
Was it a Friday? I don't remember exactly. I think it was December 3rd. And essentially that's when you try to do these illegal orders, is when not that many people are on duty, on guard.
Yeah.
Then basically after that, we've had a lot of different testimonies. Basically all of Yoon's people came in and just said what happened. They just told the truth.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. Okay. Some people lied.
Some of them they can match. How can I say? They match the
Yoon's
word
story
with Yoon.
Okay.
But some of them are not. But when they're in the court, some are actually telling the truth. Yoon is very kind of against the people.
Right. And that's something I always mention with you guys with say Trump or Musk. If any of the stuff they said are true, then go to court, swear to promise to tell the truth, and say it.
You know what? Even if they do that, they still lie.
Well, you can, but that's a penalty in and of itself. That's a penalty. Just lying in court's a penalty.
Yeah, I know, but they don't really care.
Well, I mean, that's why this thing is actually such an important ruling. And how does it relate to the Trump and Musk? So if you've been following the story, basically Yoon listens to, seriously, a lot of conspiracy YouTuber kind of people.
And also he believes that the election is fixed too.
Right.
And today the judge, when he read the paper, he say, you claim this, but there is no evidence. You're wrong.
Yeah.
And so your claiming is not acceptable.
And it was good that they show the whole thing on TV, because sometimes courts, say in the USA, you kind of just hear about it and you see a little bit of sketches. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's actually really important just to literally hear the judge read all the stuff. It was 22 minutes, and you brought up a good point where he's like literally went and said, okay, Eunice claimed this, Eunice claimed this. Yeah.
Illegal. But the funny thing is, not funny, but it's kind of, it was very good writing. Me, my friend saying, even if he did the illegal stuff, the judge said, I understand why you why you behave like that.
Oh,
why
sure,
you
sure.
make decision like that. But
Sure.
it was wrong.
Sure.
It was illegal way.
Yeah, and you have to understand how delicate this whole situation is, like why they talk this way, because Korea has a history of military and authoritarian rule. Basically, like in the past, say, Chun Hwan, and I've told you guys about this several times, and I'll mention it again. See the movie 12/12 the Day. It's a fantastic movie. And then the follow-up movie called 1987. They relate because 12/12 the Day is about a martial law. And then 1987 is basically has to do with like a student uprising and effectively overthrowing the government. But you have to understand kind of what's going on and how it relates to Korea's history, because Korea's had a very violent past. And that was one of the biggest and most important things that we're facing right now is please no violence. Like, please no violence.
So even if, he ordered martial law, some of military people, they didn't follow.
Right. Well, that's in their orders, actually. So you're not supposed to use the military like for any sort of political kind of purpose. You're not supposed to use the military against your own people, these kind of things, because Korea's had a history of that, right? So this is how you make the laws stronger moving forward in your constitution by like, we've had these problems in the past, let's move on. And this honestly, it's a proud day for democracy in
really,
Korea.
Really. So one of my touching line after the judge, after the court, the congressman said one of the line is, government are short-lived, but people are live eternal.
Oh, government is short-lived, but the people live eternal. Yeah. No, I was really inspired by it. It's hard to explain. To understand the significance of this, just think about in U.S. history, right? On January 6th, Trump's basically has all his people deny the election and storm the Congress. That's basically what it does. And he instigated the thing, right? Now Trump will try to pretend that he didn't, but
those kind of people are real terrorists, I think.
Oh, absolutely. They're violent.
But are they even in jail right now?
I think there are a few in jail. You got a lot of like right-wing influencers like, oh, these people are innocent, blah 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 blah. But it's just like,
how could you be?
We have these people. We have these people on camera. We can see what happened.
They attacked the White House.
The Congress.
The Congress, and they break in. Right?
Yeah. And we actually had a problem with violence with Yoon because there was a courthouse that a bunch of Yoon people attacked also.
Yeah. So actually, I think some part of their party, so some of the 국회의원, what do you say? The government people, they kind of encourage them to.
Sure.
They say the judge name blah blah blah, gonna make like this decision like that. So they basically, like targeting.
Yeah. The Trump people have been doing that kind of stuff too. So I've heard in Congress, I guess, some of the representatives have been putting up like wanted signs kind of stuff of certain judges. Musk has been doing that same kind of stuff too, being like, oh, I hate judges are bad. And it's like, if you're curious, because sometimes there's people out there that just want to know the truth, right? Honestly, there's people watching that just want to know the truth. They're young, they don't have much experience. And here's the truth, guys. Let's say you have a couple different parties. One party constantly attacks education, that would be the Republicans. One party constantly attacks the media, that would be Republicans. One party attacks the courts, that would be Republicans, right? It's actually the same thing here in Korea.
Yeah,
it's actually the same thing.
One of different.
It's ridiculous.
Differences, the Yoon's party, they claim like other parties, you're part of like North Korea and China.
Right. It's conspiracy stuff. So I have to explain the significance of this. And actually, Musk has a similar thing. He'll say anyone who doesn't like Tesla or anyone who doesn't like him is all paid by the Soros guy. That's what he says. So they're all paid. Like anyone who doesn't like Musk is all paid. That's what Musk says. It's a conspiracy.
But in Korea, the Yoon's party, who's supporting them, they are paid.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like old people going to, like.
Oh, really?
I think, yeah.
Oh, has that been documented?
Not 100%,
I haven't seen that one.
But there is many evidence that.
Oh, true. That some people are paid.
Like 3만 원, 5만, like $50.
Right.
Like $30, something like that.
Well, that's an important thing to understand. Is like regardless of which side of the aisle, where your beliefs are. If you make a claim, show me your evidence. Show up to court, swear. I want to see it. Present it to all of us so that we can evaluate for ourselves. The way that Yoon operates is very similar to Trump. He attacks the media, and actually he tried to make it so that the media couldn't do political stuff. So to the media's credit, they actually had some pretty funny things. There was one thing that they did was like a kind of a contest of who could do the best cartoon to make fun of Yoon, like that kind of stuff. And I understand that, like, Yoon wouldn't like it. The same way like Trump doesn't like it when media writes bad stories,
Trump
but
doesn't
I
even
mean,
like his picture at the
Right,
government building.
right.
So he says, "No, I look too ugly, but Obama looks awesome. Just check out my picture."
Yeah, she's referring to there was a painting recently of a Trump, and it's like it looked like him, but like Trump didn't want
Well,
that.
it's not like it's all of your president is there. But
Yeah. Well, Trump wants like
knows?
superhero kind of thing.
Yeah, like AI, filter kind of feeling.
Yeah. So, kind of what we're getting at is you have to understand that regardless, right? You just mentioned that the key quote was, the people are eternal, right? The governments can come and go. What happens from here? So there's going to be another election. I think it's in 60 days.
6 days, so it's going to be like June 3rd.
Okay. And then I don't know if they just start campaigning literally today. You'll start
not
seeing
today.
up.
Yeah, but other party need to pick, someone to go.
So there's already been a decision on the opposition party, I guess.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and I think the other party, the not Yoon party, they're the leaders right now. My understanding of the people in the Yoon party, they're still kind of fighting amongst themselves who's going to be the face of the party. There's different ways that they've responded to it. So some will apologize, some will not.
Yeah.
Right.
And some will change their opinion.
Oh, it could be. In my opinion, the same way with Yoon, the same way with Musk or Trump. Don't tie your career to any of these people.
Yeah.
Right. You're ruining your country. You're ruining your career. And going back to this like importance of rule of law and democracy, this is an importance of just having peace. Like peaceful vote. Someone breaks the law, you respect the rule of the judges, right? And everyone agrees that's okay.
And follow the law.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that is quite interesting is they have to have protection of judges, like physical protection, because you are concerned about that kind of stuff. Yoon actually is going to lose some of his benefits. Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah. So he's going to lose the benefit of the president, actually.
Right. So he's no longer... Yeah.
And the money.
Yeah.
The 뭐라 그래, 연금?
So like retirement money kind of thing.
Money.
Right. He'll lose his secretaries.
Yeah.
I think he has some physical security now, but I think he loses his driver.
Yeah.
Whether or not he has like a lot of physical security in the future, I think Chun Doo-hwan did, because even though, let's say, you don't like the president, it doesn't necessarily mean we want to have a situation where
people, keep threatening.
Yeah,
So.
which understandably so. So right, I don't condone any kind of violence by any stretch, but realistically, yes, there's going to be a lot of people out there that don't like you for understandable reasons. Now, to be fair to Yoon, maybe the best bet is just throw him in prison.
Yeah,
because then you don't have to pay for security per se. It's like a different type of security. Throw him in prison,
it's
right?
already done impeachment,
Right.
But he need other charges.
Right.
So after all done, maybe he go to jail.
So basically, what the importance of the impeachment is that it removes his protection as being president. It removes his immunity. Now, in the Trump situation, he has immunity from the courts. He had this ruling, and it was basically like the Supreme Court said any official action by the president, like official job of the president, that I guess we can't question him over or go after him. But they could go after him for other things theoretically. But in the Yoon situation is like now that he's no longer president, and I think he's going to leave the house in like a couple days because like he's in the blue house. He'd like literally leave and go back to his private home. Now you can get him for criminal stuff. And
it just started.
Oh yeah. And I think that's we vote in June. I think the August trial, whatever, will maybe begin then. He did a weird thing on because he's actually a lawyer. Yoon is.
He was in court.
Yeah. Because he defended himself for whatever reason. I don't know.
No, he had his lawyer.
No, I read that he defended himself.
Yeah. But he had his own people. But sometimes he likes to speak himself.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny because sometimes
he knows the law. So that is more fun. That is actually funny that he knows the law, but he break the law many times.
So that's different than Trump. Does Trump know the law? I mean, that's an interesting one. He always ignores everything because he doesn't really care. That one I'm actually not sure if Trump knows the law or not. Because I'm just telling you, he's not smart. You can tell from his vocabulary. And that's a question for you guys. Do you think Trump actually knows what the law is? Because I know he doesn't care, but I don't know. So Yoon will actually give a public apology He needs to do another one today, in my opinion.
No, he's not gonna do it.
You don't think he's going to do it? Why not?
I don't know.
So, in your opinion, you don't think he's going to give an apology?
My feeling is he's not gonna do it.
Okay, so this is why you should do an apology, okay? And this is the same thing with the Trump or any of these kind of people is you have a loyal group of followers that believe whatever nonsense conspiracy theories that you say, okay? And if you've been saying nonstop that all the other people work for North Korea or all the other people, and the judges are corrupt, just think about that, like the implications of that stuff, right? Because then you have this group of people thinking, oh my God, our government's controlled by the aliens and the North Koreans and like they're all, they're all corrupt. Right? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So if Yoon comes out and says, okay, I respect the court's decision, please no violence. I apologize for everything.
But their party's leader did it.
Well,
I'm not sure Yoon's gonna do it or not.
But I'm just explaining that.
Yeah, I know
the importance.
That is important.
Absolutely, and I've said this so many times about any politics. Again, be it Korea, be it U.S., it doesn't matter. We can have differences in policy,
Sure,
ideas.
That is democracy.
We can have differences in, how we think about taxes, this kind of stuff. But this idea that we're going to ignore courts, right, and break the law purposely, right, or we're going to encourage violence. We don't want that, right? These kind of things like that is counter to what we should be doing in a democratic society. So I think I want to encourage you guys to watch the situation in Korea because it has repercussions of what's happening around the world. Because I do the news all the time and we talk about several countries. There's a lot of countries encouraged by Musk on social media to kind of go more to the Yoon kind of thinking, conspiracy theories, hate the judges, right? Like cause violence, and just make up stuff about your opponents, these kind of things. And any of this stuff, I'll just repeat it again because a lot of people just, you got to hit this home. If you're on the fence, just remember, if there's a party who constantly attacks courts, constantly attacks education, constantly attacks the media, that's usually the wrong party. You don't want to be a part of that one because they're the ones who are denying reality. They live in some sort of fantasy world.
Society.
Yeah, absolutely. And for the average person, just like, we're enjoying our coffee or whatever, and maybe you're at home watching, having your lunches, etc. Like average people, we just want to live our lives, right? And we want just a fair system, nothing crazy. We don't want any commotions, right?
Actually, my friend this morning after we impeached, just like that. Just say what you said.
Yeah.
I just want my job.
Yeah.
And, I want to just leave.
Yeah. I don't want presidents, declaring martial law on us and trying to use the military against us. I also really encourage you guys, if you haven't already, watch our original videos on the Yoon situation. I think we made like 5 or 6 of these things. There was a lot of revelations coming out that basically, many of the soldiers, because the soldiers were key to this, had to make decisions of like, do I follow an illegal order or not?
And they, their mom, and they call their parents. I don't know what to do.
Yep.
And their parents say, don't do anything, that you think wrong, and don't hurt people, regular people.
Yeah, that was and I covered it. It was a call with the father, and the base of the father was like, whatever you do not hurt any civilians. Yeah. And last, your mom's worried about you. Please give her a call. But it was a really important and touching phone call because it reminds you that like these are your fellow citizens. Yeah. They just want to do the right thing, and you have to remember they're in the military. They're used to just following orders.
Yeah, they just volunteer to protect your country, not attack your country.
And we're in this awkward situation to where, say, the Trump or you can talk about Yoon or whatever. When you have poor leadership, those kind of people will take advantage of people who are desperate or just have whatever emotional needs to follow conspiracy. I don't know, but it points to the importance of strong leadership and moral leadership, right? And it's something that we need. What's that?
It just happened yesterday. Tariff. It's gonna they're gonna make everything is hard for you.
Yeah, I mean that was something I was thinking about actually, because we make jokes about the tariffs and stuff like that. But as I read, we'll make a separate video on this. But as I read through a list of like all the things it's going to affect, it's going to hit a lot of people really hard, and everything's going to be expensive. In my opinion, that is definitely the wrong way to go in society, and it just shows that someone like a Trump doesn't care about you. And that's sort of what we want to do is the opposite, is just have the real conversations about these issues that I think matter most. So anyway, I do appreciate your time, everyone. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Yoon situation. If you have any questions, please write down in the comments below. We'll make another video on that. And we'll catch you next time. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.